Kia ora, welcome to Bamford 6 News. I'm Chope.
And I'm Alex.
In today's stories, a new crime wave is sweeping the country in the form of woolen graffiti. Scientists have invented an invisibility cloak. We help them find it. And in the latest in weather around the country. But first, a story that will turn your world upside down. If you think the world is getting more and more topsy-turvy, it turns out you're right. Builders in Germany have built an upside-down house. And before you think they may have read the plans upside down, they did it on purpose. The wacky abode was built as a tourist attraction, as well as being a comment on the state of the world. The house is 23 feet tall and rests on its roof and has steel beams in the attic. Inside the house there are beds screwed into the ceiling, upside down wardrobes, an upside down kitchen, and even an upturned bathroom, though it's not known if anyone has tried to have a bath in it or go to the toilet. Normally a house like this would take 3 weeks to build. This one took over 4 months because workers kept getting confused by the strange angles of the walls. Many tourists visiting the house complain of feeling sick and dizzy after just a few minutes inside. We now cross over to our reporter Dan, who is inside the house. How are you feeling, Dan?
Oh, thanks, Shrippy. I'm here with the owner of the house, Sean, and I'm feeling funny.
Hello, Dan.
So what made you decide to build the upside-down house?
Well, I decided to be the first person to make an upside-down house.
What comment did you feel the house makes about the state of the world?
Well, that the world can make upside-down houses and really just live in them.
What are some of the challenges of living in a house?
Not being able to use the bathroom, toilet, bath, and bed.
Do you sleep in it much?
Well, I usually go for a holiday with my family.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. I'm Dan. Bamford News. Back to you, Alex, in the studio.
Thanks, Dan. Even watching that makes me feel like vomiting. And now for a story that is truly out of sight. Look out, Harry Potter. The world of science is catching up to the world of magic. Scientists in Europe have created a 3D invisibility cloak, which can hide objects by bending light waves. It has been found that light can be controlled using special tiny crystals that makes objects disappear. So far, scientists have made small objects such as coins disappear, but hope that it won't be long before they are hiding cars, planes, and even people. People have always dreamed of making themselves invisible. One top scientist says the possibilities are endless and we are very excited. However, since inventing the invisibility cloak, the scientists have been having trouble finding it. As soon as we put it down somewhere, it just disappears. The inventor of the cloak said it appears that they are having trouble finding other things too, like their lunch, which they can think may be underneath the cloak. What will this invention actually be used for? Hoping to see through reasons behind the invisibility cloak. Here is our spot-on reporter, Sophie, with more on the story.
Hello, I'm Sophie, the on-spot reporter with Professor Higglebottom. Professor, where are you? Professor?
Oh, Sophie, I was expecting you.
Me too. What made you invent the invisibility cloak?
The invisibility cloak, well, that was invented for surprise birthday parties. I used to go to surprise birthday parties and people would be hiding behind couches with their legs stuck out or hiding behind pot plants that were too thin, and people would see them and ruin the surprise. So hopefully now people can hide under the invisibility cloak and be a real surprise for surprise birthdays.
What did you make it out of?
Well, Sophie, I brushed thousands of cats. I herded the cats and then brushed them and brought all their hair together, mixed it with some crystals and some herbs and spices to create the invisibility cloak.
Can you show me how it works?
I sure can, Sophie, but I've lost it. I always do this in the lab. Luckily, I installed a clicking mechanism where I click it 3 times and it kind of appears around me, okay? Are you ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Oh, it's somewhere around here now, I know, because I can't see you. Wait a minute, we can grab it. Oh, I've got it. Here it is. Would you like to try it, Sophie?
Yep.
Okay, stay there. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Now you're ready for a surprise birthday party.
Yep.
What does it feel like?
Surprisingly soft. Hello again. Do you think it'll be used for evil?
For evil? I couldn't imagine anyone using this for evil. What are you thinking of?
Like robbing a bank or that kind of stuff?
No, this would only be used for surprise birthday parties, Sophie.
I'm a bit scared back to you on the street now, Droppy.
Thanks, Sophie. And now, how's this for an interesting yarn? A new wave of graffiti crime is covering the country, thanks to an underground gang known as the Midnight Knitters. These wall-waving criminals are covering tree branches and lampposts with small jerseys and scarves under the cover of darkness. Police say the knitted activities of the gang are illegal because they're woolly crimes and are being done on public property. Without permission, the popularity of woolen graffiti is growing and more public objects are being wrapped up every night. But the problem is growing. Police say and warn that if the Midnight Knitters aren't caught soon, every tree, lamppost and traffic light in the country will be warming, just against the cold. The problem is spinning out of control. There a close-knit group of dyed-in-the-wool criminals. We are stitching together a case, but it's not seamless. There is no real pattern to the crime. A police spokesman said today, so far, the criminal knitters have escaped arrest and continue to pull the wool over the eyes of both the public and the police. We go now to a secret location with the investigative reporter Mana, who has an exclusive interview with one of the Midnight Knitters gang.
Thanks, Joppe. I'm Mana, and joining me in this top secret location is a member of the Midnight Knitters gang, Sean. Hello, Sean. Thanks for joining us.
Hello, Mana.
What led you into the dark underworld of graffiti?
Well, my nana taught me how to knit when I was really young.
Do you see yourself as a criminal?
No, because knitting's just knitting. Everybody does it and just trying to make the world colourful.
Apart from lampposts, trees and all that, what else would you like to, I don't know, put your knitting on?
Well, I was thinking of people and rubbish tins.
When did you start graffitiing?
Well, that was about when I was maybe 7, but I started knitting when I was about 3.5.
Thanks for your time, Sean of the Midnight Knitters gang. Over to you, Ruben, for the weather update.
Thank you, Mana, and good evening, New Zealand. Let's have a look at tomorrow's weather. Starting in the far north in Kaitaia, look out for some pretty flash flooding and raindrops as big as your head. If you're going outside, wear a hat. Moving down to Auckland, there will be a mix of fair conditions and unfair conditions. But those are the conditions and you'll just have to accept them. There will be no weather at all for the Bay of Plenty. It's taking a short holiday, but it's expected to be back for the weekend. In Napier and Hastings, the weather will sometimes be changeable and sometimes not. We really have no idea what will happen there. In Taranaki, mild depression brings with it a very dull day with no highlights at all. It'll be overcast and gloomy all morning, but things should cheer up by the evening, so don't worry. Everything will be fine in Wellington. We'll have another capital day. There will be no wind at all, and the day conditions will be so pleasant that they'll actually be extreme. In the top of the South Island, Kaikoura will expect to have a good day, meeting friends for lunch, going for a swim and reading the newspapers. But to stay indoors as the weather will be just terrible. A real mix for Christchurch. Will have some unreasonable rainfall, some sensible wind, moderate thunderstorms and some angry snow. In the lower South Island, there will be Dunedin will be frosty cold and unfriendly until late morning when the sun will pop over for a visit. Everybody likes the sun. That's all from me. Remember, if it's raining outside, that's the weather for you. Good night, New Zealand. Now it's back to the news desk with Jope and Alex.
Thanks, Ruben. Well, that's all we have time for. We hope you've enjoyed this evening's podcast. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again next time. Until then, I'm Chope.
And I'm Alex
For Bamford 6 News. Goodbye.